Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, coach. Welcome to the straight red card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here. So we are, of course, as usual, sponsored by KY Jelly. When you need to slip it in, this is the shit you gotta use. I don't know. I was gonna come up with a rhyme there, but didn't work out. I haven't had time to come up with a rhyme for today's show.
Derek's a little distraught from having to watch the game 2 times.
Yeah, I watched it twice. Yeah, I watched it with you and the rest of the guys, and I didn't know those guys. I had met Chad before. Pretty sure I had.
Yeah, he's at my wedding.
Wow. So your wedding, didn't he come out to BYB shit too, like tailgates and stuff like that?
Yeah, he came out to games.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I'd met him before. His wife said that she definitely had met me before, and I said, okay, that's fine. I don't remember.
You have a very distinctive face.
That's true. I do. I'm rough. I'm rugged.
Jackie D says Jackie thinks the blow-up doll is safe.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the blow-up doll might be safe, but you never know. The turd in the background says, welcome to the Straight Red Card. Gregg is the first U.S. men's national team manager to draw Wales in the first game of the World Cup. Gio went off script in the presser. Someone isn't getting dinner tonight. Yeah, you might be right, because Gio did say he was completely fit. There's Chad. God damn it. We have met before. Or maybe not so much. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I didn't know what you were saying, Chad, frankly. I thought maybe we had. I thought we had. I was pretty sure we had. And then your wife's like, no, I've definitely met that fucker before. And I was like, okay. I mean, I don't remember. But I'm old. So there's that. It's true. I am old. I forget things now.
I tend to blame the alcohol. So.
Well, that's an easy excuse. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not intoxicated during most of those times that we hung out and did the BYB thing and all that. BYB, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is Brickyard Battalion, which was the supporters group for Indy 11.
I did the typical partook in plenty of drinking during the tailgate and didn't drink an ounce of beer in the actual game itself. Because I didn't want to spend $8 to $9 for a can of beer.
Man, you are so cheap. I mean, I was then too. I was going through a divorce. So, yeah, you're like, fuck, I got to watch all my money right now because half of it.
Well, I mean, I also had to make sure I was able to drive home too. Because on the rare occasion Evie's going to the game, she's like, you're going to be driving home because I'm going to get fucked up because I don't give a shit what happens out on that field. Yeah, fair enough.
Evie? Yeah.
Yeah.
But if she were really nice, she'd be like, listen, I know you really want to get lit. So I'm going to just struggle through this boring thing that I don't care about. And then I'm going to drive you home because I love you. You know, that kind of thing.
I think the last game she went to, she was pregnant with Jackson. And she was in the BYB section. And everybody was jumping up and down. And she ended up getting like motion sickness from it all.
Oh, Jesus.
So she hadn't gone back since. Not because of that, but, gave birth to a child. And
yeah.
Even after that, once Jackson was born, I really didn't go to many games after that.
Was she wearing a bra at the time?
I'm sure she was.
Okay. Well, I thought that might have helped because if she wasn't, then it would have actually increased the motion. You know what I mean?
I
made her sick.
Yeah.
Anyhow, not to get too personal about your wife's breasts.
It's safe to assume she was probably wearing a bra.
Which are large and voluptuous, of course. But I just want to thank Chad for hosting us all there today. The food was great. And the beer was great. And the company was very fun. I got the idea the other guys that came over weren't really like big soccer, like didn't know a whole lot about soccer, but they knew enough, and that was fine. And that they asked questions during the game, like, "Oh, can you do that? Can we do a review? Can you throw a flag like football and do a review? No, you can't. You can't ask for a review of a play like. But it was fun that they, just ask questions like that because that was really cool. I do have to say, before we get to Brian, that I did watch Oliver's little piece on, I think it was a week ago. I watched it today about the creation of the stadiums in Qatar and all of the kafala level, like basically slavery, and how those stadiums were built, how the workers were treated, the buildings and the way they lived was disgusting, repulsive. 8 men to a room, no bathroom. Actually, the only thing that actually had running water was the toilet, which they bathed out of. I mean, I'm almost ashamed to watch this World Cup, frankly. And for Infantino to get up there and talk about how this fucking World Cup, it's going to bring it, it's all right because it's going to bring the world together and everything's fine now. We fixed it all. Fuck you, dude. Suck my dick, Infantino. He's got the mind of an Infantino, an infant. He seriously does if he thinks we buy all his bullshit. It's just despicable. And FIFA is still as gross as it's ever been. And I don't care that Sepp Blatter's not there anymore because he's no better. This Infantino guy, okay, maybe he's better that now he's like, oh shit, you can get caught if you fuck around and take money and you can get caught. So maybe he's not doing that kind of corrupt shit. But boys, he's still tone deaf as motherfucker. And I get it. He's got to suck some Qatarian dick right now because that's where the World Cup is. So he's got to say all the right things. But man, don't put fucking lipstick on a pig. Honestly, everyone knows that's what you're doing. And it just makes you got to realize that's going to make you look like a fucking sellout. And no one's ever going to buy anything you have to say again. And that's where he's at right now. No one's going to buy. But it doesn't matter. We don't pay his fucking salary. You don't. I don't. The people out here, the fans, we don't pay his salary too. He doesn't fucking care. As long as they're making mucho bucks.
I was going to say, we inadvertently pay his salary when we watch the games and stuff like that. And the sponsors, pay them big bucks to sponsor.
That's true. I don't remember watching a commercial during the game, though. I don't remember a single commercial. So if you're financing FIFA by running commercials during the World Cup, shame on you, because we don't give a fuck anyhow. Nobody watches those commercials. I didn't. I remember the Peyton Manning Beckham commercial. That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what that was for. I have no idea what product it was selling. I have no idea if it was insurance. If it was investment information, if it was Pepsi.
Great point. I'm struggling to remember that too.
I have no Lay's potato chips. Was it potato chips? Because they're arguing about the Doritos and the chips.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, these are chips. Oh no, they're not.
Yeah,
they're crisps. That must be it. Anyhow, fuck those
people are
guys.
saying chips in the chat.
Fuck those guys. Seriously, fuck all these morons who fucking sponsored this event. There should have been a fucking blackout by all the broadcast community, including all major corporations, and said, no way. You put that thing in Qatar, we're not buying. We're not doing commercials for it. And all of the other FIFA nations should have said, this shit smells stinky. This has got corruption written all over it. And this kind of World Cup should never, ever happen again. Now, you can say all kinds of bad shit about the United States, too. I understand that. And that's where this gets tricky, because you can say we've done a lot of bad things too. So we don't deserve a World Cup. Maybe no country in the world deserves a World Cup except for Switzerland. I don't know. But I know that there are varying degrees of corruption, and we've got a bunch here too. So I guess I shouldn't be so sanctimonious, because what, am I not going to go to the World Cup when it comes to the United States? Yeah. No, I'm going. And I know we've done bad shit too. I wasn't born yesterday. I've read books. I know.
Well, all right. This comment's gone out the window now, but everyone in the chat talking about calming down after the game. Brett and Derek talked about tits.
We did talk about tits.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 7
minutes ago.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, listen, there's a reason you married Evie, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, and as a man that's not really into large tits, like I never have been, but my wife.
That wasn't the sole purpose.
No, I know. I get it. I get it. Oh, you didn't marry her just for her tits.
Yeah.
I get it. It was a part of the package.
But part of the whole package, yes.
Yeah. I mean, my ex-wife had some huge honkers too. So, you know, I get it. It's part of the package. Although it's interesting that wasn't really I'm not a big breast guy. Just never have been. I'm more into the legs and butts and all that stuff. Not the butthole, although that's part of it too. All right, so let's move on from that.
I will.
So do we have any comments that we want to address before we head into actually talking about this game?
I feel like we might as well just jump into the game at this point because there's plenty to talk about.
Can I start with this?
You might.
If these dumb motherfuckers at Fox Soccer do not stop heaping us with their stupid stats over and over and over and over and over and over again, if I hear we're the second youngest team in the World Cup again, I'm going to fucking fly to Qatar and punch Stu Holden in the fucking face. I'll beat him up worse than that one guy did at the bar back in Bolton in 2003. I'm sick of hearing this shit, dude.
But Derek, it's been 8 years since we've been able to say something like that. So
I know. Oh, it's been 8 years. Really? You can do math?
Grab talking points.
There is only so much context you can provide for an audience that doesn't fucking care about soccer except for every 4 years. But can you not say it 10 times during the game? Can you not? Can you fucking get away from saying it over and over and over again? And just assume that maybe 20% of your audience knows what they're watching, knows some of that shit already.
Adam had another one there.
Bale only needs one moment. I know if I heard that again, I was about to fucking stab my skull with a fucking ice pick. I'm sick of this shit. Guys, get a grip. You don't need to repeat the same facts over and over again during the game. I mean, we all know fucking Bale has a limp dick for 80 minutes and then suddenly gets a woody and does something. All right.
Well, I thought the most interesting stat was that Weah was the first person to score on Wales in the World Cup since Pele.
How many times was that mentioned? Twice?
A couple times.
His dad's the president of Liberia. Okay, those are all fine. I didn't mind that because they only said it once. But the shit they said multiple times, they need to shut the fuck up. I found that extremely annoying. And by the way, I was trying not to annoy the people that were watching the game with us because I didn't know them, right? So I was like, oh, shit, how much can I be a dick here? You know, you have to level that out when you're with people you don't know because I don't want them to go home and go, yeah, Chad had this fucking dick over. All he did was bitch and complain the whole fucking match.
Well, I told you the story of one of Chad's friends. I met him once for all of 15 minutes, and then I met him again yesterday. And I'm sitting there in a car. We're gonna go move some kid play set thing, and I just start talking to Chad. I'm like, hey Chad, sorry I couldn't come over yesterday. Had Derek over. We were doing all the lines for when he's for the video when he goes and buys a sex doll.
Yeah,
and it was I'm just laying this all out, going over all the different porn titles in the video and all that shit. And we get out of the car and Chad's like, oh yeah, just for some context, he does a soccer podcast with another guy and they talk this shit all the time. I'm like, I enjoyed that a lot better without the context. Chad.
Yeah, don't give me
ruin my fun there. Larry, it is a sex doll. I don't think Derek's purchasing a sex robot.
Dude, are there sex robots? I haven't seen that. I haven't seen one of those. Hey,
probably a little more pricier than the sex doll you're looking at, though.
Hook me up with a website. Sex robot? They do the work? You don't have to it's a doll where you have to maneuver them. Hey, get on my cock. Hey, suck my dick. You don't have to do anything like that robot. You're
say thanks for the 110 people watching us currently.
You're just you go into their it's like a little phone thing and you're like, Okay, Emma, now you suck my cock. And then she just gets up and does it like a robot, and you don't have to like whatever. What's wrong?
Nothing.
What? You know someone named Emma? I'm just making up a name.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So if you have a sister named Emma, I apologize. Or a child that you know named Emma. All right. Anyhow, I don't even know where that reaction came from, but that's just what happens on this show.
Name out left field. But yeah, all right.
Did I just named her Jane? Jane? Would that work for you?
So, sure. Yeah.
All right. Is your Emma? Is that your mom's name? Emmeline? Suze says you can't come over anymore. If she's watching this show, I don't blame her. I really don't blame her. I've been quite crass. All right. So let's get started with this motherfucker.
Now that we're all like having a good laugh and everything, let's mellow a bit and talk about the game.
Sure. Oh, something did occur to me. Bale, you know what? I've been thinking, what does he remind me of? He kind of reminds me of a chimpanzee. And then it occurred to me, if you've ever watched the movie The Planet of the Apes, he looks like one of the chimpanzees on the movie The Planet of the Apes. Seriously, that's what he looks like. He's got this, like the distance between his nose and his mouth is like this long. And it looks like he's just a chimp. He's a chimp or he's on meth, either one of the two. But both, probably both. Okay, so can we get to one of the controversies in this game?
Sure.
Gio Reyna.
Oh, we're going to start with that, huh?
Fuck yeah, because it's important. Gio Reyna did not show up. Well, he did show up. He didn't get to play. And Jeff Carlisle's basically telling us, Berhalter says, Gio, in the phase of the game we were at, we went with Jordan, who we felt could give us speed. I'm sorry, but he ain't got that speed anymore, dickhead, and power. What? Is he going to, like, ass fuck someone into the goal? I don't understand where the power thing comes from. And is Gio Reyna taller than Morris? Yes. Is he just as physical of a player? Yeah. He's a big dude. He's like 6'2", 6 foot, whatever he is. Morris is, he's built like a bulldog, but that doesn't mean he's got the kind of skills Reyna has. Not the kind of skills that are game-changing skills in the last 15, 20 minutes of the game. It's already bad enough that there are not enough spots for Reyna to begin with, so he doesn't get to start. Now we're not going to play him at all?
Yeah. I mean,
at all. He doesn't get to play at all.
Taking into consideration the importance of this match alone, because we were talking about this before we started the show. Man, looking at England, getting any kind of a result seems to be a prayer and a hope at this point. Which USA team's going to show up for that match? And that's basically going to make Iran's game a must-win for us. So why wouldn't we have played our better option in this match? Even if Reyna wasn't 100%, throw him in there for 20 minutes.
I thought Roldan and fucking Morris were there to give massages. I didn't think they were going to actually get to play. In the very first game of the World Cup, Jordan Morris, who had one of the most horrific injuries just about, a year and a half ago, had to sit out for a year and has done next to really nothing for the Sounders all season, gets to play over fucking Gio Reyna, who plays at Dortmund. Are you fucking joking me? Are you kidding me? No, you're not. I know. That's the sad thing. Berhalter, more on Gio. It was trying to get him up to speed.
Hold on. So let's get the super chat first, and then we'll jump back to Gio.
Okay. All right. Whatever order you want.
Yeah.
Jose Reyes, one of our favorites. $10. Thank you. Tip of the hat to
Appreciate
Jose.
That.
Back, my friends. Been a while. Mom had surgery and was out. I hope your mom.
She's okay.
I hope she's okay.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. But she was back to scream at Zimmerman for being a dumbass and for Reyna not playing. Not the result I wanted. Let's stay strong, friends. No, not the result. And it's really funny because my mom was texting me the whole time I was watching the game.
The entire second half, yeah.
With Brett, and my mom's like, this isn't good enough. Oh, we're going to give up a goal any minute now. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. My mom was right. And my mom's not a soccer expert or anything like that. But she could feel it. She could see it right on her screen. All of us could. All of us knew that fucking McKennie had to come out after the first half.
Yeah, everybody in the room was saying that too. Like somebody, he just seems gassed. I'm like, yes, he's assed out because he hasn't played in weeks.
He's grabbing his crotch. It's on the screen. Everyone can see it. He's having some pain issues.
But anyway. Derek, roster spots 21 through 26 doesn't matter.
That's what I thought.
That's what a lot of people were saying too.
That's what we thought.
It doesn't matter. Who cares? 21 through 26. They're nobodies. They're just going to sit the bench.
I thought Roldan was 26, and I honestly thought Morris was like 24 or 23 at best. And now he's playing instead of fucking Gio Reyna. Fuck you, Berhalter. Fuck you for that.
Well, so USSF had a promo video that came out, and it was basically two guys going over the rosters before they submitted to FIFA. And Scally was actually listed as the 26th man on that roster. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with anything as far as where he fit, and maybe he was like that last second decision player or what. But if he was like if you're like, okay, we got 25, we need to get a 26, let's just go with Scally, I guess.
I think they did it by numbers.
Think that went by numbers? But
yeah.
Okay. Do you think Scally picked 26?
I think Scally's 26. I don't know. What number did Sargent wear today?
Sargent's 20, 22, 21, 22?
23?
Whatever he normally wears.
Okay, so he wouldn't be listed last either.
No,
we have to go back and check that out.
Because this 24. Thanks, Nate. Sargent has been 24 at Bremen and at Norwich.
He loves that number.
Yeah, I mean, it's his number now at this point.
Right. Berhalter, more on Gio. It was trying to get him up to speed. There was some tightness we were guarding against in the scrimmage against Al Ghafara. And then Jeff Carlisle, who we trust, says, Gio Reyna just now. I'm 100% and I'm good to go. Because Davies in the whatever is the name of their show.
In Soccer We Trust?
In Soccer We Trust. Someday I'll remember the name of that fucking show. Horribly named. He was saying, no, Gio was injured. I'm hearing things that he was injured. Well, you're hearing Gregg's people.
Yeah.
Because Gio's saying, I'm calling your bluff, bitch. I was not injured. I was 100%. Next time someone says spots 24 to 26 don't matter, they don't play anyways. Kick them right in the balls. Thank you, Chris, for $4.99. That's a good point. Yep. But honestly, Chris, we didn't know Morris was a 14, and holy shit, is Roldan a 16? He shouldn't be. Neither of them should be. They both had, one was injured all season for Seattle Sounders. The other one did not have a good season.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Reyna plays for Dortmund. And yeah, he's had some injury issues, but when he's healthy, he's a every other game starter for one of the best teams in the Bundesliga, and he doesn't get to play. He doesn't get even the opportunity to play. And I say that's bullshit. That's on Gregg. That's on Gregg. That's bullshit.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. The whole Gio thing is beyond me because this just sounds more like Berhalterisms. Like, we're not taking Brooks because he's not in form, or insert this, or he's got an injury here. It's if he comes out and says, hey, we played a scrimmage, he felt some tightness in his leg, so we rested him this game. He'll be here against England. I feel like maybe less people would be upset about this. At least there's an understanding.
No, that's a lie, though. That's a lie. He is 100%, and he's good to go.
Sure. No, I'm
still a lie.
I'm saying he could say, I made this decision before the day of the game itself, that we're going to rest Gio this match. He'll be 100% fit, no guarantee for the England game at that point, and we'll go from there. Can
I give you a better excuse?
Sure. Well,
here's all Gregg had to say. Listen, at the time, I made a decision to put Morris in, And I'm not saying it was the wrong decision, but, you know, in hindsight, would I make a different one? Maybe. And, you know, it's hard to tell sometimes who to put in and at what point. And I thought maybe Morris's relative, whatever speed he has left, would be a benefit to us on the right wing. I thought he was the more like for like replacement for Weah.
I think there's a requirement though that would have to specify that something's up with Reyna, because there's no reason in hell that you have arguably one of your best players, again, playing week in, week out right now for Dortmund, not even sniff the field. So, I mean, you'd have to say something. Assuming the press would actually press on this, I don't know.
It's embarrassing for me because there's a girl at work who wanted to know more about the national team. And I said, okay, well, here's a few players to check out. And I, you know, told her, gave them the names and told them why she should be interested, because she's a big sports fan. But she's not a huge soccer fan, but she wants to watch the World Cup.
Did you pass along Jedi's Calvin Klein promo?
No, I did not, but she might have liked that, and his Peckerwood. But I'm just saying that I sent her, one of the first ones I sent her was Gio Reyna. And I said, he's going to be an important part of our World Cup run.
It's just.
Now I'm going to be embarrassed because tomorrow I'm going to go to work and she's going to say, how come Gio, this guy you told me was so important and this team didn't even play? I'm like, yeah, because Gregg's a fucking
beats the fuck out of us too. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, again, it's even if he did feel tight, even if that's the thing you're going with right now, wouldn't you want to say put him in there for like 15 minutes or so, just to help get things loosened up moving forward? I mean, I understand that you can tighten it back up and it can get worse, but.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it because Gio wasn't told what to say. And then he said this to Jeff and the press. And now he's going to get peas and butter for dinner. That's it. He's not going to get to eat. He's going to be called into Gregg's office tomorrow morning for the fucking reach around that he usually gets for guys that sit the bench and just want to be on the team. Now Reyna's going to have to apologize. So. Here's the full Reyna quote. I feel really good. I feel great. I feel fine. Asking Berhalter communicated the fact that he was going to use Wasn't going to use. Berhalter doesn't have to tell me why he didn't put me in or why he does. But I'm 100%. I'm good to go. Oh, slam. He's basically saying, hey, man, I'm in the – I don't need an explanation, but I'm healthy and ready to go.
He says it's the coach's decision whether or not to use me. That's up to him. But I'm ready to play. I'm 100%. So.
What a gaffe. What a gaffe. What a horrible fucking decision. And we weren't even happy with Acosta coming in.
Dude, oh, man. Yeah.
Both of us were nervous about that. And then Acosta proved us right several times in the very short minutes that he played. That he's not ready for prime time.
Well, and what I say too, he got the yellow card for the foul, which was a good play. And what did I say? I said that's the best thing he's done since he's been on the pitch.
Yep, that was the best thing because he gave it away for a counterattack twice, in the short time. On the attack, they passed the ball that one time on the left side, and he didn't even touch it. It went right past him. It was a perfect pass, and he failed to even control it. And then it ended up with Pulisic, which was fine. Yeah. But, I mean,
Adam Williams says he saved our ass, though. Yes, that professional foul was a smart play.
It was.
And he it's what he had to do. And they talked about this. I think Seb was talking about this with her. And that if Pulisic would have fouled his player beforehand, like instead of just letting him go by, if he would have fouled his player, it wouldn't have landed on say an Acosta or somebody else to do a professional foul like that. So,
Pulisic should have fouled him.
Again, like I said, that foul, and yes, it did save our asses on a counter. I mean, it was a professional foul and it was a very good play. Like I said, that was the best thing he did since he got on the pitch.
Yeah. I have to agree with that. I wasn't blown away. By the way, can we talk about set pieces for a second?
Yeah.
If fucking Christian Pulisic continues to take set pieces, we are fucking wasting 98% of them.
Do nothing but
wasting.
Short corners. Do nothing but short corners at that point, because at least you maintain possession at that point instead of just kicking it right to their front, the first line defense.
I'm a 51-year-old man, and if you gave me 1 week to prepare taking fucking corner kicks, because I used to take some of them, I could get a fucking corner kick into the box, deep into the box. Maybe not at the fucking highest speed, but it would get there, all right? This is ridiculous. This guy cannot be taking set pieces for us.
I don't understand it. I would have imagined that kind of be like his bread and his butter. Yeah, so Brian, I want to talk about this too. Once Aronson came in, once Acosta came in, I would have accepted either of them.
Acosta, please, give me
either of them should have been taking those corner kicks and free kicks.
Yep.
100%.
Not him.
We had him. At one point, we had McKinney, Zimmerman, Ream, Weston, and Weah, all, I don't know if I said Sargent or not, all in the box, waiting for the ball to get lobbed up in there. And these are all guys that are really good at getting up in the air.
You know who can take a corner kick? Or used to take them back in the days. Tim Ream. He's really good at swinging in across.
I wouldn't want to put him on the corner, though.
I know you need him there to get the head on the ball to put it in the goal, but I mean, shit, that's not happening because Pulisic can't take a fucking corner kick to save his fucking life. How can you be that bad at taking corner kicks? I just blows my fucking mind. Blows my mind. Like, but as soon as Aronson was in and Acosta was in, I was like, surely Aronson will take the corners because he does a better job for Leeds than Pulisic can do, obviously, ever. I've never seen Pulisic have anything but a mediocre fucking corner kick. That's it.
Very. It was funny because it looked like he was almost kind of like dialing in throughout the game. Like he'd do a couple of them really kind of near post and they'd get cleared out, no problems. And then all of a sudden he's like hitting them way past far post.
Too far.
And I'm like, find that happy medium, man. If this is what you want to do for the national team, if you want to take corner kicks and free kicks, you need to be out on the pitch every goddamn practice after everybody leaves and hit like 100 of those fucking corner kicks every fucking day until you can learn how to place them properly.
Just compare them to Wilson's corner kicks for Wales, which were deep, threatening, in the thick of things. Turner had to come out and fucking do some shit. We didn't have that. Our set pieces were all wasted all game long. All of them just fucking wasted. None of them counted for anything. Well, I can't. Is he doing well in practice? But then he gets out in the game and he sucks. Or is he sucky in practice too?
So here's my thought process, because this has been something that's been ongoing for years right now. All of our set pieces have just been kind of garbage for the most part. There have been games here and games there, but if we have a problem getting past that first man defense, why don't you post Zimmerman or Ream at that near post, and then just look for the flick? Just look for the flick at that point. Why is everybody sitting where the ball should be going, but we never get the ball there? So why don't we correct ourselves and say, hey, why aren't we putting one of our guys who are good in the air there just in case 90% of the time that it's going there, somebody might flick it,
if you know that Pulisic is a limp dick fucking corner taker, which is what he is, then because he's a virgin, you put somebody on the fucking near post that heads it on to the rest of the guys. He needs to get laid, dude. That'll improve his corner kicking. Big time. All right. Other thing we can't do. Cross. I'm not even talking about Pulisic now. How many fucking crosses were blocked today?
All of them.
Almost all of them. Almost all of them.
Outside of Weah's line drive.
That was beautiful.
Almost created an own goal.
Yes, that was great. But, I mean, our crossing is so pathetic. Oh, don't forget the Jedi cross to Sargent that he headed off the post. That's a good cross, too. But most of our crosses blocked. Almost all of them. Then you go on the other end. Are we blocking their crosses? No. All their crosses get launched. and right into the box. But our crosses get blocked by every fucking cross blocked. And those motherfuckers don't lift their fucking head up to find somebody to cross to.
Well, there was one time I think it was Jedi who crossed it. I think it had to have been him because it was on the left side of the field to the right, and he lays this cross, and it was Weah surrounded by like 4 Wales players, and he laid that cross and was just going like, why the fuck would you do that? That was like the dumbest thing you could possibly do. He's never going to get to that shit.
I guess, do we chalk that up to youth, inexperience, naivety? I'm not sure what to chalk that up to because this isn't all on Gregg. The players made some stupid decisions out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you cross a ball, okay, if you know you're going to get a corner kick out of it, I get it. You cross it, it gets blocked out of bounds, you get a corner kick. That's fine. But we suck at corner kicks.
Yeah.
So what benefit is that to us? How about you pull, or sometimes instead of going straight towards the end line, you stomp on it, pull it back, and take a right-footed cross. And I just, some of the crossing to me, Brett, in the passing today was just repulsive. But at least we dominated the first half.
And speaking of the first half, one of the big talking points that we had during that half was the Dest and McKinney, pairing there. Like, because obviously we were playing a 4-3-3. I mean, that's the Berhalter special.
That's what it was posted as.
Then we were watching the match.
And I kept turning around to you, and I was like, you seeing this?
Jedi was camping him like our offensive third.
Yeah.
And Dest is playing more or less the cannon role, if you will. And McKinney's out wide, right?
Yep.
It was the strangest thing to see. I'm like, I've never seen this system before. Why are we doing this now?
Is this slide? Is this the slide one I sent you?
I certainly can pull it up right now.
Yeah, there it was. We were playing a 3-4-3. I mean, for the whole first half, for the most part, Dest would get aggressive, and he would leave Zim and Ream back there by themselves. But he played in a back three because Jedi was jacked way up the left side the whole game. And then McKinney ended up playing the other wing. He was basically a right wing back, and Jedi was a left wing back. And then Musa and Adams, although McKinney on defense would come back and help out too during the settled time periods. But
so I mean, I made this comment. During the match itself. I'm like, maybe the problem is that Dest isn't fit, and he's not ready to make those darting up and down runs. So he's sitting back, picking his choice of runs, and that allows Jedi to basically sit camped up in the offensive third. And that's why McKinney has to push out wide because Jedi's not making those darting runs up and down the line.
And then when
I made that comment during the game because that's what it seemed like.
But when Dest would attack, as this arrow indicates, McKinney would fall back and play that right center back spot.
Yeah.
And I kept telling you, I've never seen this from Gregg. Maybe this is something special he came up with just for this game. But it worked pretty well in the first half. I have to be honest. It did.
It's no different than, say, when Cannon was playing that right center back option. Jedi played up whoever our left back was at the time, whether it's Jedi, whether it was Scally or Vines or whoever, had the opportunity to more or less push up and stay up. But I've never seen McKinney get so far wide right in that sense.
Yeah.
That was just so strange.
It was really strange, especially when we had possession and the possession started out of the back three. Frank Kessler, thank you, Frank, for your $4.99. Our team cannot cross, so Berhalter's idea is no more crosses. No reason for Gio in the midfield. Yeah, well, and I think I have another chart where I show like all of our build-up play is on the right and the left, and nothing down the middle, really. It all ends up stuck at the top of the box on the right side of the box. Which one you're going to. It's all stuck in this sloggy cock on the right and the left side is where we just get bogged down. But it's never because it's in the middle, okay? Because what happens is when we get in this situation, and the circle basically outlines where our attackers are on the field, right? But then here's the pattern that happens. If you want to go to my pattern one, once we get stuck here, then the ball would go from Pulisic out to Jedi. Jedi pass it back to Musa. Musa would pass it to Adams. Adams would pass it all the way to Des. Des would pass it back to Zimmerman. Ream would, and then he'd pass it to Ream. And sometimes Ream would pass it to Turner. And we'd start all over again. How many times did we do that today?
Meanwhile, all Wales just clogged in these holes right here, and they just sat there and waited.
Yeah.
And
that happened. It happened too many times where we sat there with possession in their final third and just chipped it around. We just chipped it around. Nobody made a run. Nobody did anything. They just chipped it around. And then it ended back in the fucking back three or the back two, because many times Ream and Zimmerman were the only ones playing defense or hanging out at that, at the halfway mark. So it was just lame. It was limp dick shit, but we're used to seeing that from Berhalter. And then Charlie Davies goes on this fucking rant about Sargent. About Sargent not having a good game. What the fuck was he supposed to do? So everyone that plays the 9 for our team has a bad game. Yeah, everyone does.
I've already got rid of the. I can pull it back up, but the sloggy. Would you call it a sloggy cock or?
Sloggy cock?
Sure. So basically, here's where Sargent should be, but the ball seems to just go around him the entire time.
Yeah.
And the only times that I recall Sargent really being a part of the thing was going in for that way across that almost resulted in a goal, an own goal. That bounced back out, and then Jedi had the next cross, I guess, and that he almost put away.
Yeah,
he hit the crossbar.
Hit the bar.
Great work. Thought that was well done. The other play that resulted in the goal. His small amount of hold-up play that led to Pulisic in the ball, letting in Weah to score the goal.
Right,
and then he may have had like one other place, a couple other plays scattered throughout over here. Why are 9? There's one time I said Sargent was all the way back to our 18. I go, what the fuck is Sargent doing there?
Yes. And Pulisic was standing 10 yards in front of him, not doing dick. Nothing. He was just standing there. While Sargent played what basically is a CDM role.
So, yeah. It's one of those things, again, jumping back to why we're talking about Sargent in this situation, is that Davies was like, well, Sargent had a bad game.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the video clip to know any context behind or what he was making the argument for. All I'm saying is that maybe, just maybe, Davies is looking at maybe reminiscing a formation that actually benefited the strikers.
No.
Because, God forbid, our current system under Berhalter does not benefit our strikers at all.
You are absolutely correct, but Charlie didn't say that a single time today. Come on, Charlie.
We've got strikers who can score goals. We just have a system that doesn't work for them.
Does not Chuck notice this at this point? Does he notice that no one that plays center forward for us succeeds? I think that Sargent got no service today. How are you going to blame that on him? The system does not provide an avenue to get the ball to the center forward. Look how many fucking crosses were blocked today. You think all those cock blocking shots, if they had gotten anywhere in Sargent, he might have had more opportunities, but all of them were blocked.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any really great crosses. I don't know how you're going to blame that on Sargent. To me, and then he says Wright came in and had a splendid fucking 50.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
And I'm like, what? He did 2 things I can possibly remember from those 10 to 15 minutes. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know if he just really loves Haji Wright. I don't know, Charlie. Makes some sense to me on that one.
I mean,
you usually do, Charlie, but that doesn't make sense.
Haji at all in this situation. There was at the point, by the point that he came in, we were on our heels for the bulk of that second half of that point. And quite frankly, he didn't have much to do of anything. I mean, he touched the ball a handful of times at most.
Right.
But I'm not my point is that you can't say
Haji,
Sargent
right.
had a bad game. Yeah, you can't have a bad Sargent had a bad game, but then claim that Haji had a good game because Haji didn't do shit. And again, it's not. I'm not bagging on him for not doing shit. He had nothing to do,
and so did Sargent.
Yeah,
Sargent did a lot of running. He, did some. We didn't like press intensely, but when we did, he was there doing his job.
Mm-hmm.
What more can you ask?
This is John kind of leads into what Davey said, is what you said, right? He wants to play way at 9. So now John says it a bit differently. He wants to play way at 9 so he can get the best players on the pitch. So I'm guessing he means to say you can get Reyna out there as well.
Yeah.
And this is an argument you can make at this point. You can say, hey, we want way out there, but we also want Reyna and or Aronson and Pulisic. So how do you do that? Well,
of course, Way is the only guy that can cross, so that takes him out of that picture. I mean, Reyna can cross. I guess if you get him out there, he can cross.
We talked
really great.
Yeah, we talked about what makes Weah so productive in this system is that he plays a true out-and-out winger in this situation. So he plays on the sideline, and when Sargent comes back, check for the ball to hold up the play, that opens up the space for Weah to have made that run that led to the goal chance.
Yes.
And this is why our wingers are more productive in goal scoring chances than our 9s are, because that's just how the system's set up.
Yeah. No Ferreira, by the way.
So I guess the big somebody said hey, Jesus had a good game on the bench.
And we have been telling you guys this for a couple months, maybe a month, especially the last month, that Ferreira shouldn't even be on this team. And I think Gregg sent a clear message out today. We're right. He shouldn't be, because we started out with Sargent and we ended with Wright. No sign of Ferreira on this team. Now, if he all of a sudden starts versus England, I'm going to shit a brick. Because it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
When was it? Here we go. Yeah, do Reyna in the Ferreira role.
Yes.
9.
All for it.
There you go.
All for it. Make it happen tomorrow. Make it happen versus England.
Let's put it this way: if you wanted to have everybody on, like John was saying, you have play way at the 9, so you can have all your best players on the pitch. That would be what you want to do. You'd want to have Reyna playing almost as I know this is the fable position, but almost as a 10.
Yeah, you could play a 4-3-1-2. A 4-3-1. That's Reyna. 2. We're having Pulisic and Weah playing as the strikers.
And wouldn't it be nice to have Pulisic in the sense that instead of coming back into the midfield and congesting up an already congested midfield this is the last slide, I guess you did, but with Jedi, Musa, and Pulisic all running into the same spots, more or less. If you had Pulisic up top and he's not required to check back and get the ball and try to create at that point, you already had that position in Reyna. At that point, you're just utilizing Pulisic and Weah for one of their big strengths. They're both fast as fuck, and they can score goals. So you have Reyna in that 10 false 9, collects the ball, turns, slots the through pass to them running on to goal. If that's the route you want to go.
It ain't the route Berhalter's going to go.
No.
So I guess we're living in Disneyland here. But I wish we weren't, honestly. I wish this were a real discussion that could really happen. But it's not going to happen. And if it does, I will kiss Berhalter's fucking briny, pimpled ass. I will. He can come on over. I'll give him my address. But it ain't going to happen. Can we talk about how bad the ref was?
Oh, you beat me to it. I was going to bring that up. Yes.
Can you start then? You start. Because he sucked.
So it's just starting with the initial yellow cards.
Yes.
That we received. It literally was the first foul on the U.S. It warranted a yellow card, I guess.
It's so bad.
What a dumb foul.
Bad.
Sure. I don't even think the Dest one was really that bad, quite frankly.
No.
I think you can make the argument for McKinney's foul. But even then, the problem was it wasn't consistent. There were times where we got tackled from behind and they just got a stern talking to.
Yep.
It was so hit and miss. If you're going to be bad across the board. Don't be bad towards one side, it seemed like.
Why do we have to get the fucking local Qatari?
The entire squad. No, is it is it normal for World Cup matches to have an entire reffing squad from one country, but one federation?
Not in every World Cup, it's not. But apparently in this one, they decide to put out an all Qatari fucking
how are we so lucky?
Referee squad. I don't get it. I mean, give me any other referees. Don't give me the guys that do the fucking local domestic Qatari league games. Are you shitting me? Those guys are not ready for prime time. Give me the fucking guys that do the Bundesliga, the Italian league, the fucking Premier League, even the championship. Give me those guys. Don't give me this slop fucking Qatari referees.
And how many times was Pulisic just ran over the entire fucking
match? Yeah.
And
over and over again.
And it was by the same fucking person. I'm going to butcher his name. Is it Mepham?
Mepham. It's your boy Mepham.
It's just, I don't know. He did the hip check. That should have been a yellow card. And then like 5 seconds later, he got a yellow card, an actual yellow card for his pullback on him, which was warranted. But I'm just like, it was so inconsistent for the bulk of the game, and he kind of made up for it towards the end. He started just wildly calling bullshit regardless. But it was such a bad performance by the ref, and I don't like blaming the refs in that situation, saying like,
"Oh, I'm not."
We had all 90. We had all 102 minutes or 100 minutes to put the ball in the back of the net. Can't blame the ref on everything there.
No.
I'd say the one big thing he got right was calling the PK, because it was PK. So
we should probably talk about that, because
it's the biggest elephant in the room.
You know, listen, we're pretty critical guys. But can we not necessarily tear down Walker Zimmerman for this? He made a split-second decision. It was a poor one. He didn't see Bale. If you watch the replay, he's looking left at the ball coming across. He doesn't even see Bale, who's over here. Doesn't see him at all. Then Bale's there at the same time the ball comes, and he plows through him. And it was
the argument you can make is that he had a lunge for the ball.
Yes.
And he shouldn't have put himself in that situation.
He should never lunge.
It was a stupid play. Now, and I won't go so far to say, like, you know, our center backs were the best people on the pitch, because some people have made that argument, but I'm like, he was mediocre throughout the game. I mean, he didn't do much of anything. He collected the ball and passed it off to Ream and let Ream do everything.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't call him mediocre. I thought he was pretty, normal Zimmerman, pretty reliable. I thought he was pretty reliable.
But the point to that would be is that they weren't really challenged for the bulk of the game, at least until
they were for big chunks of the second half.
Second half, yeah. But at least for the first half, there was like zero things that they had to do ever.
There were a couple things here and there, but yeah, for the most part. But I do think in the second half, both Ream, who by the way was spectacular, and Zimmerman had to do some shit. And I thought Zimmerman was pretty damn good, although he did defer to Tim Ream to get the ball through lines. He would not do it. He would not pass the ball through lines. He'd say, "Here, Tim, you do it." And that's fine, because he's being smart, because Tim Ream does that better than he does. So he made one very poor decision in an
very costly decision, though,
and it cost us. It cost us 2 points. Yeah, cost us 2 points.
So I mean, I feel for a guy. I guess when you think you perform adequately. I guess again, I'm sticking with okay at best,
reliable,
mediocre throughout the game, because he again wasn't overly challenged. There's some things he did okay. Some obviously the PK was bad.
Yeah, he didn't blow my balls off.
But that's the thing. That's the thing you're going to remember, and that's the thing you get chastised for. I mean, you get docked hardcore when it comes to rating how a player played. Like, oh yeah, he did perfectly fine. He had a 90% pass rate. I don't know if that's accurate. I'm just making shit up here. But he had 90% pass rate.
He basically passed to Ream and Des the whole game.
but then he gave away the PK that cost 2 points in a World Cup, and that's gonna affect everybody's perception of it.
It made a rash decision.
So
yes,
it's and I guess the big question would be is, would somebody who hasn't been struggling for the last couple months internationally and for club make that same mistake in that scenario?
Brooks, I don't know.
Well, I'm saying Zimmerman didn't have. especially, I don't know the rest of the season, but I know the tail end of the season, a lot of people are pointing out how he wasn't doing that great. And I don't watch Nashville, so I don't know. But then I know with the national team, he was not so great. He's okay-ish, but it wasn't his best performances by any means. But then now we're entering this in there's a long gap of no games, and then he has to play. Would somebody who's consistently playing, so like a CCV or an EPB, in that scenario, would they make the same mistake, do you think? And it's hard to say, but maybe they'd be in a better position for it.
Really hard to say. Yes, absolutely. I don't even know if CCV would have been in the right spot to make that play, because Zimmerman was in the right spot. He lunged, and he should never have lunged, because Bale had no chance of turning that into anything necessarily right away, a scoring proposition. So I don't know. I hate to place all the blame on just Zimmerman, though. I think a lot of this has to go on Gregg for making poor decisions about subs and
sub management and the choice of subs too. I mean,
and the ref, but yeah, choice of subs. Yep, it's that too.
So when the roster got announced, Derek and I looked at it and we're like, so we got everything right except for maybe Weah, because we had initially slotted Reyna up there.
Yep.
Mainly because Reyna's been playing and Weah had only been playing a couple games and at right wing back for Lille. We just assumed that Berhalter, maybe that was going to be the plan too. I don't know. Or maybe Weah was always going to be slotted in there, because Weah for all during qualifying has been showing up and playing balls out for the U.S.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe he would have had that spot regardless. I don't know.
Yeah. Can we also talk about how bad Weston was? He was bad. He was very poor. I mean, good on defense, but Jesus, his one-touch passes
that's the
were
thing.
Wretched.
He would have some good 1-2 back and forths, but then all of a sudden, a series of boneheaded one-touches. And yes, he's not sharp. He's not where he is. And quite frankly, especially since he's sitting on the yellow card, there's no way in hell he's going to be playing. He's going to start against England.
I don't think so. But You know what? We really don't have a proper replacement for him. You can say Aronson, but Aronson's not. He's a 10.
So
he's a 10.
So this would change things up a bit. We'd have to almost revert to the double pivot.
But we're not. We're not going to do that.
I didn't think Berhalter was going to play a 3 center back with Dest as one of them, but we did that.
Yeah, that's all cloak and dagger though, because. When you get later into the second half, Dest is playing more like a back four all of a sudden. And then Yedlin comes in, and we're definitely playing a back four. So it's like, okay, yeah, we did a little cloak and dagger there in the first half, and Dest played as a right center back, and then as an attacking midfielder as well, when he wasn't playing right center back. And Zimmerman and Ream, I have to give Gregg some credit, just said, hey, guys, you're alone. You're all alone up there. It's just the two of you. So good luck. And that was aggressive. That was very aggressive.
As far as what an informed Weston brings to the team, we don't have a replacement for him.
No.
We have players who can come in, like you said. Aronson will play a different type of position, but then again, the MMA functionality is a bit off when you remove one piece from the equation. And that can be good and bad. But that means Berhalter's going to have to change some shit up.
Yeah, because
you either bring in Aronson, who will have to play more of an offensive-minded player and doesn't check back on the defense as much, or you're stuck with somebody like a Roldan, or you got a Luca De La Torre who hasn't played since when?
Yeah, and Luca De La Torre is a more natural replacement for Musa.
Yeah, exactly.
Not McKennie.
So you'd almost have to change tactics at that point when you replace McKennie, and we've never seen that occur because we've never seen it
work. We've never seen it work. We've seen Aronson play in the midfield before, and now we saw it again today, and it was not a success. It wasn't horrible.
The second half was definitely questionable on certain things. I mean, it's just. I mean, Wales sat back. They were down 1-0, and they realized, we gotta change things up. We gotta get a goal, otherwise, we're gonna be out this World Cup. If we lose this match, we're out. I mean,
oh yeah,
probably, yeah. So they had to change up their point of attack, and it threw us off. And this is the point. Do you blame the players as far as their inability to adjust accordingly, or is this on the coach for not making an in-game adjustment? And bringing in Yedlin and Acosta is not an in-game adjustment.
No.
They're not even a like for like, but a like for like, just player swap.
Those aren't pluses. Those are minuses. That's taking an L. That's going backwards. Okay, Yedlin, not so much for Des. That's not a huge backwards development. But Acosta coming in the midfield is a major, for Musa, is a major negative. It's like noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right, for Sargent, the 9 doesn't do anything anyhow,
yeah,
so no big deal.
I didn't think that sub was necessary. I feel like holding that sub, maybe using Wright for a different match as a whole, unless Sargent was gassed, which I don't think he was.
He might be. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it just seemed like an odd choice because, again, to our points we've made all day today, our 9s aren't getting service. So what's the point? I would have rather have brought in an 80% Rain at that point instead. And you can still take Sargent out, but
let me make this very clear. I really like Jordan Morris as a person. I think he's a great guy. He seems like a really genuine, great, fantastic human being. But this Jordan Morris ain't the same Jordan Morris that went off to the championship in England and got injured. This is not the same player. And I will live and die on this hill. Reyna is your sub there, not Jordan Morris.
Yeah.
That was a horrible decision to make.
100%.
Absolutely clueless decision to make. I don't know if it would have made a difference. Maybe the game would have still ended 1-1. But I think Reyna gives you more artistry, more creativity. The possibility of something amazing happen is going to happen with fucking Reyna, not Jordan Morris. Jordan Morris is going to do Jordan Morris shit. Unless, he puts in a header, which is possible, I suppose. But just because it happened in the fucking qualifying against much lesser teams doesn't mean it's going to happen against Wales.
Yeah.
I don't know. So any other things we need to cover here? Because I think we covered everything, really. Everything I thought was important. Did you have any other topics you wanted to graze over?
I mean, just the game is. This game couldn't better describe Berhalter's tenure as a whole. You have the first half where we looked just flat out dominant, moving the ball around. Didn't really create a whole hell of a lot of chances, unfortunately, but again, on par. We got our goal. We went up. The second half came around. Changes were made, and we shit the bed, basically. It was two different team mindsets. Maybe what happened is we came out and we said it's just gonna be an extension of the first half. We'll do this. We'll take it to them, and then all of a sudden Wales is taking it to us, and we don't recover.
But that gave us the most amazing opportunity when they had to go at us.
Yeah.
To counterball them, and then when we got the counters going, fucking Pulisic, for whatever unexplainable reason, maybe because he's a virgin, did not drive the ball down the left wing past Mepham. Just blow by that guy. You're like way faster than that dude. Just blow right by him and let him foul you again on purpose and get another yellow. Test him, but don't dribble into fucking traffic, you moron. What are you thinking? I don't get it. And that needs to be fixed because the opportunities twice on counters were on the left. They were with Pulisic, and one time he dribbled down there and stopped when he should have just blown by Mepham and just gone. And the other time he decided to take a fucking right turn and get into the clusterfuck of the fucking Wales defense. It makes no fucking sense.
I mean, we were watching the game, and I said it looks like he dipped his shoes in concrete or cement because he's going at half pace, slowly progressing the ball forward when it's clearly going to be a counterattacking. They may even had more defenders in the play, but I mean, You're fucking Pulisic. Your bread and butter is taking players on at pace, and then getting behind them and laying the ball back across.
Yeah,
and you don't do that. That was a major letdown. There were several times where we could have had the counter.
It's like he's misunderstood the directions that Gregg has given him about, hey, no hero ball, because he still did some of that today, right? Mm-hmm. But then the times when you're like, okay, dude, that shit's wide open in front of you. Go and drive the ball down that fucking lane. Mm-hmm. No, he wouldn't do it. In fact, the midfielder who's helping the defender was running behind him and started like 20 yards behind him, but he was moving so slow. By the time we got into their third, that guy was up his fucking rectum. I don't know what he's thinking. That doesn't make any tactical sense. It doesn't make any goddamn normal sense. Even if you don't know anything about soccer. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm going to play the ball so slow, although I got a guy named Meppen in front of me who couldn't fucking run a 440 in half the time I can, and I'm not just blowing by that guy on the left side of the field and making a nice cross in, or if you want to, cut in, make a pass with your right foot, fucking Pulisic, since you don't want to pass with your left or cross with your left, which goddamn apparently he hates doing. MLS buzz, having the clearly more talented team, but being able to win these games when we are not playing at home has been the theme of Gregg Berhalter's entire tenure. One shot on goal with the players we had on the field isn't good enough. His system isn't good enough. It should have been more shots on goal, honestly. Sargent should have put his header on goal, and Des shouldn't have launched his 100 yards.
Sargent ripped the post. I mean, that's about as much on goal as you can get without being on goal. And
okay, it's
I think post balls should be considered on goal because it literally rocks the goal.
I think I would have. I don't know. I'm not him, but Dest had a very open outside the box shot that he launched 20 yards over goal. That should at least be on goal. At least be on goal.
Adams ripped a shot. Unfortunately, he drilled one of the defenders.
Yep.
But I was just happy to see him actually rip a shot. Kid does not shoot.
I'll take it. Yeah, he doesn't usually. He would have brought that down and passed it off to somebody. So all in all, we should have won the game.
Yeah. Even giving up the second half, the way we did, we should have won the game.
Yep. But you just sensed it in the second half. Something bad was about to happen. My mom was texting, this shit goes on, they're going to score. She was right, because 10 minutes later they did.
So Mom? This is all scripted. So we're going to go and play England, and whatever the result there is. But Iran and Wales will tie, and then we'll beat Iran, and we'll move on. It's all scripted.
Man, I hope you're right. You're right. I hope that there's still a way. There's a path. All we need to do is tie England and beat Iran, and more than likely we're in. Maybe we beat England, but playing the way we just did doesn't give me a whole lot of hope that that's going to happen. We're going to need England to choke a little.
It'll be interesting to see because I think, again, I hate to chalk this up on youth because that's the talking point. This is the youngest squad in U.S. history for World Cup and the second youngest in this World Cup. But it is one thing that you go from having just a flat-out dominant first half and you come out probably expecting, and then they throw you back on your heels and you never really recover. And that could be a youthful issue, quite frankly. But all these players play at very high levels, and they played at very high levels for a number of years. So we can't necessarily utilize the youth argument because they play at very competitive levels at young ages. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see though, because obviously England's going to take the game to us. But
one would think.
But if it's the full 90 of them taking it to us, and we won't have that surprise period where we try to recover, because we're always going to be on our heels. So maybe that'll benefit us, similar to how like in the Mexico in the past when they played us, we were always giving up possession, but then we'd always have the quick counters and win 2-0 when we play at home and lose in Aztec and so forth.
If there's a time to play a 4-2-3-1, the next game's it. But it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. And we should have won today. We didn't. We have any other questions? Let's do those. It's part of the show where I usually say,
"Are we there?
Are we there yet?" To lighten the mood a little, Qatar was the subject of some great memes yesterday. Here are a couple. When the Qatar team becomes the first team to lose the opener of a World Cup. Get the Stones. All right, let's say I get that. I don't know if they do that there. All right. So, I forgot to transfer $25 million to Inter Valencia. That's more like it. That is more like it. I don't know about the stoning thing. I haven't researched that, so I can't say. Berhalter sucks. Berhalter sucks. The second half was like using sandpaper and Tabasco to spank it. That's all I have to say. I need a drink and a lobotomy. Yep, have that lobotomy. Join Alexi Wallace. All right, the team Stu Holden. The team continues to struggle to be able. We're never having them on the show, by the way.
I've put it to bed that there's probably gonna be a couple people that will never come on our show.
I know. I'm sorry. Keep ruining him for us. All right, the team continues to struggle to be able to put together a full 90-minute effort. Frustrating. Wales adjusted. Berhalter was caught flat-footed and waited too long to counter the adjustment from Wales. Well, Adams was fantastic. Acosta saved our ass. He only saved our ass once. He also put our ass wide open and spread fucking anus ready to be penetrated twice with 2 bad plays. So, yes, he saved our ass, but he also bent us over and had us grab our ankles twice. So keep that in mind. All right.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily think Berhalter made any adjustments to counter Wales. I think in Berhalter fashion, Plan B is just Plan A with B squad players.
Yeah, I mean he looked at Moore coming in for Wales and said, "Oh, that's just like a big, tall guy. Okay,
let's put our 5'5" right back in."
I mean, Moore came in and made a difference. Made a difference.
Yeah. Oh, massive difference. Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
he could hold it.
Lob a ball up there. I mean, his giant ass will get it.
And he was great at holding it too, and bringing other players into the fold. Their 9, Moore, actually did what most normal 9s do on normal teams. Our 9s don't do that because they're not allowed to. Like, when's the last time you saw Sargent bust out on a wing for our team and receive a ball and then cut inside and maybe lay it off to – you just don't see it.
Well, how often do you see our 9s actually in and around the box?
How about this? How often do you see our 9s in and around the ball?
Yeah.
Period. The ball. Not our box, but the ball. Like, the ball is like – our 9s have like a ball rejection zone, and they run around, and whenever the ball gets close to them, it gets pushed away from them. They're not allowed to have it. I'm afraid that second place in the group is going to come down to who beats Iran by the most goals between U.S. and Wales. Could be so. We could also tie England, and Wales could lose to them.
Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, I'm not 100% positive I saw enough from Wales to assume that they are going to beat Iran.
No,
I'm hoping that
Iran looks broken, Brett.
Yeah,
they look broken. I think they're going to get their ass beat by everybody. The question is by how much. I think the real question is, do we tie England and Wales lose to England? That's the question. And I think we tie England, they lose to England, we're in. That's how that's going to work. because we're both going to be in Iran, I would assume, because Iran doesn't look like they even want to be here. They just don't. They don't look like they want to play. They didn't even sing the national anthem. They didn't put their hands to their hearts.
In fairness, that was in protest.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
They don't want to be here, representing a government that they think is corrupt. So maybe their hearts aren't all in it, but that could make them dangerous. Because guess what? Whenever there's a whole team that gets together and says, "Fuck it," then you don't know what they could do if they all decide to show up one day. Because "fuck it" could mean anything. They could play great because there's no pressure because they don't fucking care. So they're going to play freely. Dakota Young, man, I wish I could smoke what Derek is smoking. We have GGG as the coach, so I have no hope.
Well, you have to remember, Dakota, Derek is the pessimist of the group here. I'm the optimist.
Yes, he's saying that we still... Okay, no, I realize that GG's the coach. That's why I'm so pessimistic. But I still think there's a chance. But it ain't because of GGG. It's going to have to be the players. They're going to have to pull this off. Because I really don't see a way that Gregg's making a huge difference when he makes decisions like bringing Morris on instead of fucking Reyna. That's an unacceptable fucking decision that you don't get a pass for ever again. That is a poor decision. Poor decision making.
Poor decision also is just, again, taking the same system that's struggling in the second half. They did great in the first half because Wales sat back.
Yep.
They had the opportunity to just run the game. Cool. It worked. And we got the lead. Definitely worked. But then, Wales took it to us the second half, and the concept of just taking some players off the pitch and replacing them with light characters.
Lesser?
That's why I said light, but yeah.
You're being nice. Lesser, yeah.
lesser
players, yeah.
And still sticking with that same system is not a good game plan.
Yeah, Morris would ride Pine at Lille. He would never even play for Lille, okay? Acosta could never play for Juventus, ever, or Valencia, ever. That's a downgrade, okay? But guess what? You bring in Reyna, that is a different kind of player, but still an even upgrade with Weah. That's just a good player. That's a fucking talented, artistic, fucking thoughtful player. And you didn't play him because he said his left testicle was pulled or tight. And yet he came later in the day and said, my left testicle is fine. It is ready for sucking. And I didn't get to play. So there you go. I don't know. Gregg Clownholder. Yeah. There you go. What a kick in the balls. And to not use Gio is a sin, yes, especially because Gio himself said he was 100% fit. That was a light tap to Gregg's balls, by the way, by Gio. Gregg is a liar. Yes, he is a fucking liar. And he is a known liar at this point. He lied about Brooks. He lied about Ream, even though Ream's on the team now. He lied about both of those guys. He is a fucking liar.
So, yes, it's a great point you just bring it up here. He didn't bring in Ream for the longest time because you're playing the high press system, and you need quicker center backs, I guess.
Yeah,
and but that's also the reason why he didn't bring Brooks. But now and keep Brooks integrating into the system all through qualifiers because he doesn't have the skill set to play that role. But then Ream was our best center back option tonight. It didn't matter how fast or slow he was.
Absolutely was. Yeah.
And it's just like you can take speed out of the equation as a center back if you're an intelligent ball winner that can distribute the ball.
The point for Gregg is that Gregg, we've noticed that all your Disneyland fucking excuses about what players are on the team or aren't on the team are just that. Lies. That we're beyond Disneyland at this point. They're just fucking lies. You've been caught. You've been caught red-handed lying. And now you're not believable. And you want to be this cuddly little fucking sneaker-buying little guy that does back passes and fucking whatever with the fucking soccer ball. But you're not believable anymore. That's the problem. You, Gregg, You make this happen. You make yourself not believable anymore because you lied. You lied, dude. Like, do your best to not lie. At least say no comment. Because if you comment and you make a bullshit excuses and the bullshit starts all loading up and forming a giant pile of fucking shit, people are going to notice after a while and no one trusts you anymore. I don't trust a single word that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah,
honestly.
Dakota had this point too, but this is just carry on from Chris's point. But he lied about Pepe.
Yep.
He lied about what constitutes his form. He lied about the system, guys. He's just a liar.
He's a fucking liar. He's a fucking liar. At least one thing I can say about Bruce Arena is he was a smart ass, but he wasn't a fucking liar.
I think
he was wrong.
The mental
sometimes.
lapse in the second half may fall on Berhalter in the sense that, did you see him attempt to try to get to all the balls so he could do the bounce passes and stuff?
Yeah.
He was out of form today.
He was, especially since we all thought, oh, that's a throw-in for us, and so did Gregg. And they'd go, nope, that's a throw-in for them.
They literally kicked it out of bounds, but go ahead and give them the throw. Fuck off.
Yeah, it was fucking ridiculous. There is no way to understand not using Gio. Landon Donovan in the studio was a train wreck. Well, except for the fact he brought up Gio. Maybe he should do L Tree broadcasts instead. Although he was the one that brought up Gio. Give me some Bob Bradley or Bruce Arena next time instead. Both are pretty busy. Zimmerman was running a 4-10 until the disaster moment. Adams was huge. I don't think Zimmerman was that bad until the mistake. I thought he was like a 6.
Yeah,
I'm giving him a 6.
I said mediocre, so that put him slab at a 5.
Yeah. Okay, 5-6. And then he has that moment. Now he's down to a 5-4. I agree. Adams was huge. He was fucking huge because Adams is a fucking pro, which is something Gregg can't understand.
But how many times did we notice that McKinney and Musso is actually behind Adams from time to time?
Yeah, that was
why is Adams that fucking far up the pitch? Dude,
yep.
Sit your ass back.
Yeah, it looked like we were playing a 4-2-1, 3-1 at some points. Yeah. It was weird. And then later it shifted to a 3 in the back. So great picture of Lawless and Holden at yesterday's Qatar game. Yeah.
Do you remember when this photo was taken? Isn't this is at the Gold Cup, and you randomly had a bunch of college kids wearing a bunch of Qatar shirts and stuff.
Yeah, they might as well be the biggest Qatar cocksuckers that ever lived because they have not said a word about this shit. They haven't said a word about anything controversial. But then again, if you watch the video of the Danish journalist whose camera was being threatened to be smashed yesterday, then because he was asked by someone that he was live with on a Danish TV station, how are journalists being treated there? And he said, well, like this. And they turned the camera and it showed Qatari officials hovering behind them like Michael Cameraman, waiting for any word that they would basically unplug their fucking camera and say, nope, you're done. You're done. You said too much. You're out.
Mm-hmm.
This is bullshit, dude. This is bullshit. So, okay, FIFA, let's not have fucking goddamn any more tournaments in authoritarian governments, although.
But they pay better.
Where are you gonna find a non-authoritarian government at this point? Even we're headed that direction. And anyhow, I don't want to get into that. But
probably it's not our wheelhouse, Derek. So we're gonna move on.
It is our wheelhouse, Brett. But we're not going to talk about it. Period.
Yeah.
End of story.
Not our show. It's wheelhouse. Let's put it that way, I guess. Alex Martinez. Tough tie. Feels like a loss, to be honest. But no World Cup is a straight line to the trophy. It's an emotional wave, and we just have to keep our focus. Bring it home, boys.
I hope you're right, Alex, because if we lose to England, you might as well pack your bags. Okay, this show is over. I mean, there is a small chance we crush Iran and get in with a 1-1-1, but we do need to get a point out of England. We need a point just to make it more realistic, honestly. I need 4 years to get over this 8 years of Gregg is still the coach. Yeah, I don't think the way things are looking right now, that's going to happen, Sean. I think Gregg's basically singing his goodbye song.
Well, and I've preached that for a long time now. One cycle managers. To your point, though, before the World Cup, obviously, you would say, like, well, it depends on how he does in the World Cup.
Yeah.
If he gets out of the group stage, he might just get rehired. I'm looking at this going, even if he does get out of the group stage, even if I take my one cycle manager idea out of the equation, I'm not seeing it from him here.
I don't want to watch any more of this.
Yeah.
I really don't want to. So please fire Gregg Berhalter regardless, unless he gets us to the quarters or the semis. Then maybe
but again,
I'll have to go, okay, I'll suck it up. But that ain't happening, and you know it, and I know it.
That's would probably be due to, again, a player stand-up performance. Like today, we could have won. We should have won. But mind you, a player had a bad moment, but we had the 1-0 win. We played well in that first half. If we play that way in both halves, it'd be different. But if we do happen to get to that point, it's not going to be because of the system. We've had several years here to experience the system, and we know that the system doesn't work that well.
We're not getting that point.
What?
We're not going to have to make that hard thought decision. We're not making the semis. We're not making the quarters. Who are we joking?
I put $10 on us winning it all, Derek.
Well, that's you have jizz for brains, but other than that,
10 fake dollars on points bet.
Oh, well,
free money to me.
So
I'm like, I'll fork over $10. The odds are in my favor.
It's no real risk then.
No, absolutely no. I put money into it to get the free bets, and then I took my money out after I used my free bets. So
I'm watching this game for the third time.
Stop it.
It's on right now.
Don't get depressed.
I'm just watching the way Wales crosses balls.
So Sean continues.
So much better.
Sean continues. I know it's a draw, but it feels like a loss. Gio and CCV would have made the difference in this one. We should have left the 3, not 1.
I will agree. Maybe Gio could have made a difference at the end of that game if you would have put him in for the last 25. I don't think CCV makes one trickle dick of Siemens difference in this game. I think Zimmerman made a rash decision, but that decision could have been made by any center back. Honestly, it really could have been.
In fairness, it might have not been made by any other center backs.
It might not have, but now we're living in like the world of what Nostradamus. We're doing like, well, what if this or an alternative universe? Well, we don't live in one, so we don't know.
Again, yeah. The argument for me in that situation is that we don't know what would have happened if we played EPB or CCV.
No, we don't. We don't.
So we don't even know what would have happened if Long played that position. So,
well, I thought again. You go back and watch the game. Zimmerman was very fucking reliable in that first half. Yes, they weren't like overly pressured or anything, but whenever he had to go back and do something, he got it done. And in the second half, for the most of the second half, he and Ream were really goddamn good when they were under pressure until the horrible error. So most of the pressure came from the wings, from out wide. So it wasn't through the middle. It wasn't their fault. And they had some really good support from Adams. I thought they all functioned pretty well up until that lunge. I really do. I don't think that Zimmerman was that horrible. And if he was, I tell you he was horrible because I don't care. Like, I have no allegiance to anybody except for this show, except to Brett. And that's even hanging by
doesn't bitch about me.
That's barely hanging by a thread. I'm just kidding. But, really, we don't have any allegiances to anybody. Brett and I just say what we got to say. And I'm not putting this all on Zim, just Zim. I don't think CCV would have necessarily. I mean, how many headers did Zimmerman win? I mean, that's his thing. He won a shit ton of the long ball headers into our side. And could CCV do that? I don't know, because CCV is about 4 inches shorter.
So
than Zimmerman.
I guess taking into consideration our system not creating opportunity, a whole hell of a lot of opportunities, and us only putting one away, which is a Berhalter special, the 1-0 victories. That one play by Zimmerman is the game changer, quite frankly. When it comes to rating his performance, you're looking at like he fucked away 2 points there.
He just did.
He may have been perfectly fine up to that point, but that one play fucked away 2 points.
Yep.
So
that's when you make all the arrangements, right? All the arrangements as a virgin to finally get laid, and you've hired the hooker and everything, and then you show up and you fucking lost your wallet. And she's like, no, bitch, you don't get any money. And in this case, no, bitch, you don't get any points. That's how that happens. You got to fucking bring it the whole way. You got to have that. The plan has to work from A to Z. You've got to make it work from A to Z. So we just didn't have it. He didn't have the money to pay off. He made a brash decision, and he lost his wallet. All right. Outside of his assists, I honestly thought Pulisic played hero ball again. I think he did in certain circumstances. I'd agree. There were times that Sargent and Weah are making runs, and he held on to the ball way too long. Also, his free kicks are subpar, and his corner kicks suck. They suck with a capital S.
I think he's lumping that all in with free kicks. It's a free kick for him. Mind you, they're two different things, but
who was that chick that was well known for sucking? Linda Lovelace?
I'm sure there are a number of them out there.
She the Debbie Does Dallas chick? Anyhow, I mean, that was Pulisic today on his free kicks and corner kicks. He just sucked. I mean, deep and hard. And it was bad. Not in the Linda Lovelace way where it was good. All right. By the way, Derek, I like that song you put up. Hey, thank you, Markaloff. Appreciate that. I fuck with it heavy 100. Okay. Man, I'm impressed. Somebody's getting it on. Listen to my music. Let's get it on. Oh, yeah. Dan W., everyone really hard on Pulisic. Hard as in hard Cox, or hard as being hard on him because he didn't play well? I'm imagining the second.
Pulisic, it's not that he didn't play well. There are a number of plays that you sat there and went, get the ball off your foot. He's open. Oh, fuck.
I just talked about it earlier. Yep.
Yeah.
And then there were other times he could have driven the ball on the counter.
There were just notable plays that stood out with Pulisic. And again, that may be because the ball gets funneled to him throughout the game. He's on it a lot, so maybe it's just more noticeable at that point. But I thought he had a pretty decent game. It's just those plays that could have amounted to something, that could have created more chances.
The fact that he got the ball a lot today says something about how Gregg adjusted to make sure he got the ball, which was a problem in prior games where he barely touched it. So Fred Baker, oh boy, here we go. Fuck shit, fuck cunt, fuck shit, cunt, prick, shit, fuck. Those are my thoughts. What a letdown. Adams and West were terrible, by the way. Adams was terrible. West was terrible. Adams was not terrible. I don't know what fucking game you watched, but not the same game that everybody else who watched the game watched. So you're out in the fucking edges of the universe there on that one, my friend, Fred. All right, what else we got? We got nothing else? Are we done? Are we there yet?
Read through this real quick. Just make sure.
Are we there yet? Brett, are we there yet?
Just read and make sure there's this. All right, Al's tagged us in this. So
they circumcised at halftime and removed the remaining meat at full time.
Yeah, so not an expert in Qatari law. Do they cut the players' dicks off at halftime or wait to the end of the match? And then Calcio says, what do you call a botched Qatari circumcision?
Do they circumcise there?
I don't know. It's going to be a joke.
They're Arabic, but they are not Semitic, I don't believe. Are they Arabs? If they're Arabs, they are Semitic, and in that case, they might be circumcised.
You're thinking too much into it. It's supposed to be a joke.
Well, people don't realize this, but Jews and Arabs are both Semitic. And when people say that Arabs are anti-Semitic, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Arabs are Semitic. They're Semitic too. So that doesn't really make sense. I mean, you can come up with anything else you want to say about it, but they're both Semites. They both have a lot of the same traditional, cultural, and DNA roots. So anyhow, enough of that. What do you call a botched Qatari circumcision? I call any botched circumcision horrible, a travesty to the cock. All right.
Al says
a cutter.
I thought that was pretty good.
But
I guess good. It's a ripoff.
Okay. All right.
I'm glad other people are having fun with dick jokes out there. It's always a good time.
It is. Dick jokes are jolly. Hey, thanks for showing up and hanging out with us.
Your explanation of anti-Semitism is ruined the joke.
Sorry. I do feel every once in a while I need to inform people of something.
There you go. Derek, this will help you out.
They aren't Abrahamic. Oh.
Abraham's line does a snip.
Okay. That's fine. That's good to know. I had never really studied the evolution of circumcision as the Semitic tribe split and went in different religious directions. So thank you for that. Oh, by the way, Michael Camerman, did he really need to be in the interview with Adams and Berhalter?
The pre-presser?
Yeah, did you see that little prick?
I thought you were talking about a post-presser.
No.
I still haven't been able to find shit.
Oh, good point. There is no post-game presser on U.S. Soccer.
I mean, I saw there's a 40-second clip of Berhalter after the match and on the field still. And then there's a small, minute 20 of Weah. That's all I've seen post.
Maybe the post-game is tomorrow? I'm hoping. Because if there was a post-game interview of Gregg Berhalter after this game, outside of the Fox one, which was 20 seconds long, then why isn't it being published anywhere? It's not so far that I know of. No one-on-ones with ESPN or whatever.
It boggles my mind. Fox has all these rights.
Yep.
Of all of it, and all you're seeing is just the pre-match commentary. You see the highlight reels, and you see the actual matches. Well, I just think there's capitalism is speaking here, but there's a lot of money to be made on doing behind the scenes shit too, like the pressers. Posting that shit out. Be crazy amounts of views for their YouTube channel.
Yep.
It's easy money. It's easy money. What the hell?
Should be a full interview, 30-minute interview with Berhalter after this game. I don't understand it. It's now 9:53. It's 10 o'clock. The game ended at 4. 6 hours. You're telling me nobody has had the time, or he hasn't had 30 minutes spare time where he could do a fucking interview that's published somewhere that we could watch? I mean, again, you're making the right point. When you show up to a bukkake, you want the full fucking goddamn blow, man.
Yeah.
You don't want a little pre-cum. That's all we got today after the game. We didn't get the full thing. We got a little bit of jizz, pre-jizz. That's it. That's all we got. That's bullshit. Because this is news. This is a big thing. It's the fucking World Cup, man. Cover it like it has a big set of testes. Cover it like it's important. Like these are important things that need to be exposed to the world. Don't hide them. Don't hide them. Expose them. All right. Thank you all for show. Oh, okay. Soccer USA. I heard Gregg Berhalter was booed by fans when he was introduced as coach in the stadium. Very possible. Very possible. It wasn't that crew they brought in for the announcement of the team. Grant, we'll ask him about his shoes. Grant might be kicked out of the country, as far as I understand it, by tomorrow, because he wore the shirt.
He wore it was a soccer ball with some the rainbow colors around the soccer ball, I think it was. So,
yep.
I think that was a shirt he wore. Basically, he was told at the stadium that he has to put on a different shirt, or else he wasn't going to gain access into the stadium.
It's like having a goddamn fucking World Cup at Nazi Germany. Welcome. This is what we all here in the world and FIFA decided was okay to do. Like, you can't wear a gay pride shirt to a fucking soccer game? Like, that's an issue? That's a problem? Although, granted, make it all about himself.
Thank you. This is why
he made it all about himself. Like, it's not about the World Cup now. Now it's about Grant Wall.
It's a
sorry, Grant.
I don't know. He knew what was going to happen.
Yes,
and the post still came up. I'm just saying,
he's not coming back on our show either. He's never going to come back on our show now. Not. I mean, unless he's never heard any of these shows. If he missed them all,
I guess.
I mean, if he missed them all, we might still be able to get him back on again because you know.
Where did the hell did that one go?
What? He's an odd-looking guy. Kind of an alien effect there with his skull. He's got this long skull. Anyhow, he's bald. There's nothing he can do about it. So let's not bust on him for his baldness. But he's a freaky looking dude. In a, not in an offensive way. He's just different looking. All right. Are we done?
I got nothing else.
Have we shot our wad?
I think we blew that about an hour and 30 minutes ago.
Okay. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming to the show. Now, not coming to it, watching the show. If you came to it, that's on you. Hey,
glad we do it for you.
It's a free country.
Yeah.
You do whatever you got to do. But we will be watching the game on Friday. Are we doing a Thursday show, or are we waiting till the Friday?
We'll probably have to wait till Friday. Might as well wait till Friday in that sense.
Might as well. There's no point in doing
unless we wanted to do like a recorded video at some point for just a lead up to it.
I mean, we could do an England preview show on Thursday and then, record.
We're going to record something and do it on Wednesday and then
not record, but do a live show on Friday. After the game. So we will definitely be back with a live show after the game on Friday at 8:15. So look for that. I can only do an hour that night, Brett. So just warning you now.
That's fine. I'm going to be with a bunch of family too. So we got
Me too. I'll be with family. I can only sneak away for an hour. So we will do a live show. We'll do an hour after the England game. And let's hope we win. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, make sure you loop it up well. KY.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, coach.